as the Pac-12 turns. Newest details for you. We talked about it a lot on the show yesterday. Ray Anderson, the athletic director at Arizona State, did an interview on a podcast. And as we described yesterday, there was never going to be a follow-up question. This was a very safe space for Ray Anderson. There were no hard questions. There were no follow-up questions. Unchecked misinformation in this podcast, and I'm going to play for you in a minute. But are you surprised at this point, and here we are on May 17th, are you surprised at the level of misinformation and conflicting information that is coming directly from the Pac-12? Because you're also going to hear from Washington State President Schulz here in a minute, who had another message that is directly in conflict with what Ray Anderson said yesterday. So, Jake, I'll toss it to you on this because I think this is a fascinating question of, are you surprised at the conflicting messages from different parts of the Pac-12?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that surprised because we know the Pac-12 is unorganized, and I think that it's easy to slip up when it comes to the X's and O's of how a TV deal works, you know. And when I say that, we've talked all about how the Pac-12 media rights situation works, right? In terms of getting the deal done. So, hey, like, you got to go out and get an agreement done with a TV partner, whatever TV partner you want to say. Let's say ESPN, just as an example, right? So once you get ESPN to say, hey, we'll pay you $1, we'll pay every school in the conference $1 per year to broadcast their games or whatever the agreement is, then you're going to take that agreement and you're going to go to your schools and say, hey, Oregon, what do you think of this? Hey, X school, what do you think of this? And then once you get all those schools to agree, you've got your grant of rights done. Then you can announce a TV deal. And so the conflicting issue here is basically how TV deals get done. So am I surprised that these guys, you know, seemingly are on different pages as to how this process works? Not at all, because some schools are very much informed and not talking Washington. Other schools think they're informed and are doing a lot of talking, Arizona State. And then you have Washington State that knows how a TV deal is done, but has no idea the landscape in the TV land, which is why you shouldn't be talking.
Well, let's start with Ray Anderson at Arizona State. He went on an Arizona State podcast. And he talked all about this idea about how a TV rights deal is done. And again, I want you to listen to this very closely because I think this is incredibly damaging. Is that the right way to say this? I don't know that that's the right way to say it.
I think it's a little embarrassing.
From Ray Anderson is differing. But I don't know. I don't know why I am parsing my words. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to torch anybody. But you're the athletic director at Arizona State, Ray Anderson, on the Speak of the Devils podcast,
right,
with a TV guy from Arizona. And Ray Anderson said this.
What's your sense on just kind of where things are at in terms of a media deal, and how confident are you personally in kind of the long-term viability of the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever shape it ultimately takes?
Yeah, I'm very confident in the long-term viability. The 10 schools are solid. UCLA and USC will be moving on. But I do believe the 10 schools remaining are very solid, and there's a commitment to do that. It will be, I think, summertime when we have a deal to announce. I don't know if that's July or August, but the latest thinking is that by summer we should have an MMR deal, a multimedia rights deal with the Pac-12 to announce. After that, you then have to make sure that you have your grant of rights, which essentially is the 10 remaining schools signing on to the deal, essentially granting their media rights to the conference so no one is inclined to leave before the deal expires. And then once you have that, then very frankly, I think the notion of potentially looking at expansion makes sense.
Okay, so first of all, and we debated this yesterday on the show.
Right.
Ray Anderson, the athletic director at Arizona State, on the Speak of the Devils podcast, says summer, possibly July or August. will announce, and note that word, will announce a new TV deal, multimedia rights deal, and then we'll get a grant of rights. Well, and I'm not trying to play Timmy, knows everything, but I'm here to tell you that's not how these deals are done. I have talked to television experts, administrators. You would never announce a TV deal before a grant of rights because you announce a deal and then Oregon's like, nah, dude, we're out. I'm not signing the grant of rights.
No.
And all of a sudden you don't have a TV deal. Now, in your opinion, do you think that was just a misstep? Do you think he wasn't thinking it through? Like, what do you think Ray Anderson meant by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think it's a misstep. There's no question about it. I mean, you made a mistake. I mean, that's just indisputable. I mean, that's just not how the deal works. So it's absolutely a mistake. And I think that initially, when I listened to it the first time, I was like, well, he was kind of speaking in generalities, kind of like he was just sort of, just kind of talking. He wasn't really like detailing each little step. But then you listen to it like 4 or 5 times, and you cut it up for the show and you get it prepared and everything to play. And you're like, yeah, dude, like, yeah, you were actually kind of detailing it. I mean, the problem is you don't get the benefit of the doubt because you're the AD of Arizona State. So when you hold that position, you have to be informed. And then in addition to that, you have to speak the right things in the right order. So I don't even feel like this is that controversial. He made a mistake here. And once again, Ray Anderson has spoken out of turn. I mean, you all remember when he went on 98.7 Arizona Sports in Phoenix and kind of made an ass of himself there, with all due respect. I mean, again, as he just said, like, we're not trying to torch anybody, but you can't come out as an athletic director and be like, yeah, well, this is how it's going to work, when, in fact, that's not how it's going to work. That's the issue here. And I think the original question we asked is, are you surprised something like this would happen? And it's like, no, I'm not surprised, because
you're not.
No, because once again, he shouldn't be talking, and neither should guys like Kurt Schulz.
I'm shocked. I think this is a shocking misstep. Now, having said that, Ray Anderson's a guy, to be totally honest with you, Ray Anderson's a guy I don't think should be an athletic director at any university. I think he said some stuff in this podcast. He talked about how, Arizona State has never been competitive. They've never consistently been a top 15 team, and that's not his fault. And that should be like, he said some wild stuff in this podcast. But it's shocking that he says that. And on top of that, Washington State President Schulz went and did an interview at an event with one of the Washington State Cougar blogs and said nothing about July or August. In fact, he says it's coming fast and it's going to happen soon.
We're continuing to have really good dialogue and discussion with several media bidders and media partners. And there's multiple people that are really interested in the Pac-12. We occupy a really unique time slot that people want Pac-12 football, they want men's and women's basketball. So we've got lots of folks out there, and I know our fans are frustrated. They're like, Kirk, we've been hearing since January, it's imminent, it's going to happen. But I ask everybody to be patient, because we have more bidders coming to the table, more people interested as the time goes on, and the 10 schools are as unified as I've ever seen them. So we hope in the next few weeks to a month to be able to have a media rights deal, to get the grant of rights signed by all 10 schools, and then to work on expansion. So when it happens, folks, the dominoes are going to fall quickly.
I don't know that you could be more 180 degrees apart than Ray Anderson and President Schulz at Washington State are. Because Ray Anderson says, oh, it's into the summer, July or August. Kirk Schulz, the president of Washington State, says, oh, it's going to happen here in a matter of weeks, and when it happens, it's going to happen really fast. And this is the problem in the Pac-12. There's no unification. And why is there no unification? Because there's no leadership. And in the absence of leadership, what happens? People are going to act out. When there's no leader, people are going to fill that leadership void with their own behavior. And I think that's what you're seeing. But what did you get? You got 2 interviews in safe spaces where both of these administrators, Ray Anderson at Arizona State and President Schulz at Washington State, who both declined to come on the program because they're not talking about this right now.
Right.
Right? They knew they were not going to get follow-up questions. They knew they were not going to get corrected. And they said two diametrically opposed statements. And frankly, we did a lot of legwork on this today. And I tell you this every time somebody like Ray Anderson does something, we work very hard to confirm or not confirm that report.
Yeah.
And we were told by a conference official, very high up, an administrator in the conference, who said, hey, this is really dangerous. Because if there is no deal before July or August, there will be long-term lasting damage to relationships that the Pac-12 has built.
Shame.
Like, that's how serious people are taking what Ray Anderson said. And then you just flip the coin to the other side and you have Kirk Schulz saying, oh, no, it's weeks away here. We're close. And when it happens, it's going to go really fast. And I think there's a couple other things that I would point to you on this. One, Arizona State is wildly irrelevant. It's Ray Anderson said it in this podcast on his own. Hey, we're not relevant in football and basketball. He straight up went to, man, our baseball team is terrible. He said in this podcast, our baseball team is not good. Just straight up said that. But he's talking about like men's paper airplane throwing and all the non-revenue generating sports, hockey and
Women's
wrestling,
soccer,
women's
water
soccer,
polo,
like he's all of these under the
Yes.
radar, non-revenue generating, non-reach generating sports. Baseball, softball, football, and basketball, bad. He straight up says it and he takes no blame for it. And it's shocking. So keep that in mind that that's who we're dealing with. But I talked to a number of people in college athletics today who all said what Ray Anderson said on that podcast is incredibly damaging to the conference because they are telling people industry-wide it's just a matter of a couple of weeks. It's a couple of weeks. And what did you say while we were listening to the Kirk Schulz bite earlier in the pre-show meeting?
Yeah, I mean, dude is doing a remarkable job of at least staying on point, right? I mean, I disagree with him. I mean, in some of his takes, obviously, the optics take was garbage, and that got proven completely false after the news that came out today, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I mean, my main point here, and we're going to play it, but you notice how remarkably similar the two bites are from Kirk Schulz. They're basically saying the same thing here.
Listen to what Schulz said last week, and this was on a Zoom call for regents at Washington State. Notice how he uses the exact same messaging and language about the Pac-12.
Media rights, where are we now? We've had really, really good conversations with major media outlets and recognizable ones that everybody goes, oh yeah, I can click on the TV and watch that. Over the last 6 months, ESPN's a great example. They laid off a whole bunch of employees. Yeah. If you said, when would be the worst time in the last 6 years to try and negotiate a media deal, probably the last 5 months is going to be pretty close to the worst. And so what's been happening is we've continued to have those conversations with recognizable major media outlets. They're very interested in the Pac-12. People have to remember, you can talk about football isn't as great as this conference or that conference, but we occupy a coveted time slot where people need live sports content around the nation. People like college football, and the Pac-12 owns that West Coast time frame.
It is really well done. He said the exact same thing, the exact same way, 2 weeks apart.
Now, I disagree with the take that you own the Pacific time
Right or
zone,
wrong.
right?
Yeah, right or wrong. I
that's
think
not the point.
it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think one of the other stories that you have to really pay attention to when you listen to Kirk Schulz talk, there's two that I'd really caution you about. NBC Universal, who we had exclusively on this show months ago as being an interested party in Pac-12 media rights, is, we are told, likely out on the Pac-12 now because they just dropped $110 million on a streaming deal with the NFL for one single playoff game.
Isn't that insane?
Now, two things come to mind immediately. They spent $110 million on one football game. One game, an NFL playoff game. And you in the Pac-12 don't think that streaming's the way to go? And you in the Pac-12 won't do a deal with Apple TV, allegedly, because most of the members of the Pac-12 don't believe that putting your games on stream is the right way to go. And you may well be right about that today in 2023. You might be right about that. 2024, 2025, I would disagree on that. And the other story that I think you really have to pay close attention to is this one right here. Pat McAfee is doing a deal with ESPN now. Announced, it's official today, that Pat McAfee, for a minimum of $20 million, and some people price it as high as $150 million deal over 3 years. Do the math, that's $50 million a year. Is going to ESPN. The Pat McAfee show will be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and the ESPN YouTube channel. So when Kurt Schulz at Washington says, hey man, the optics are bad, can't announce it now, well, but they can announce Pat McAfee show for $150 million on all 3 of their platforms. And I would again say ESPN Plus and YouTube, which are both streaming platforms on what? Where do you watch those 2? Yeah, the mobile phone, which is the only thing in sports that matters these days. I'm telling you now, at the end of the day, the Pac-12, likely their biggest mistake will not be doing a low-dollar TV deal. In my opinion, Jake, I think their biggest mistake is going to be not doing an all-in stream deal for the next 5 years with Pac-12 athletics.
Yeah, and I think you're missing a big opportunity to sort of be the paver of the road, if you will, because everyone agrees. Notice, everyone agrees that streaming is coming, right? That's like the minimum. Like if you're someone who's not sure about streaming, you at least agree that streaming is on the way, and it's like the next thing. There are some of us, like myself and like ESPN, who believe that streaming is now, which is why the UFC is exclusively on ESPN Plus, or why Pat McAfee is now an ESPN guy. And I look at this and I say, hey, Pac-12, you had an opportunity to be a trendsetter. You had an opportunity to probably make a lot more money, honestly, by doing an all-stream deal. You wouldn't have to be, fiddling around in $90 million land with ESPN in multi-outlet land. If you would have just said, okay, yeah, we know that linear is kind of a struggle right now, but what if we did an all streaming deal and we just went in on it and we believed in it and we backed it? What would happen?
What do we have to lose?
What would happen?
What do we have to lose? And I agree with Lopes fan Gabe. Gives us a $10 tip to say Anderson's stance was basically, quote, ASU's major athletic teams have never been world beaters, so it's not reasonable for fans and alumni to demand they be good now. Dude is a clown. Well, and Lopes fan Gabe's exactly right. Ray Anderson on this, Speak of the Devils podcast says in his own words, yeah, we've never been we're top 15 is the best we've ever been. Like, we haven't been consistently top 25, and basketball and being a men's basketball coach is the hardest job in sports right now. And it's like, dude, so let me, and by the way, I think and I know, Gabe, you listen to this, so you back me up on this. Let me get this right. Ray, you don't think your team should be good. He straight up said, in my opinion, NIL is not something I'm interested in, and the transfer portal is bad. Ray Anderson, the athletic director at Arizona State, said that.
Yeah, his specific terminology was that
crazy.
It's pay for play.
Crazy.
He straight up said that. And I think the other thing that was interesting is he brings up this analytic after saying, hey, we haven't been relevant in sports. So he answers that question, and he goes into this thing about something called APR, right? Academic Progress Rate, and wants to lean on a stat about how Arizona State is beating Stanford and beating these amazing academic universities. And it's like, well, hold on a second. It's called academic progress rate. So, yeah, sure, you're improving more than those schools are, but that's only because Stanford's the number 3 school in the nation, I believe it was. So they don't need a great APR because they've already done their APRing. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing you're dealing with rough. In the PAC, dude.
It is rough. Maury, the great Floridian Alvarez. This has been a situation of those who know don't talk, and those who talk don't know. The PAC leadership needs to keep things close to the vest. Dude.
Facts.
Those who know don't talk. Those who don't know, Those who talk don't know.
Facts.
Is exactly right about this conference. I don't know how else to even say that.
Perfectly said, dude.
I mean, Maury, you're exactly
Facts.
right.
Facts.
McKay Boyle gives us a $5 tip to say my prediction for the Big 12. Oregon State, Gonzaga, CU, AU, ASU, San Diego State join. Side note, Pac-12 is letting the inmates run the asylum.
Gonzaga.
You know, it's funny. I had a conversation with a guy this morning about Colorado, and there was all this buzz about Colorado and, you know, hey, are they leaving? Do they want to leave? Are they upset? Are they blah, blah, blah? And again, I'm not trying to tell you who I know or who I talk to, but, and you can confirm, like, this is a dude that's at the top of a conference.
Yeah, bro. Top of the food chain. No doubt about it.
And he has said repeatedly to me, and he said it again 3 times in a 5-minute phone call today, nobody wants to leave the Pac-12. And he usually tells me, dude, I talk to a lot of people, and he always says over there. I talk to a lot of people over there. None of them want to leave. And you know what he said today? Nobody wants to leave the Pac-12. And really, Colorado doesn't want to leave the Pac-12. Like, just out of nowhere. And it didn't strike me until I was reading your comment about CU, and it's like, but homie said, and Colorado doesn't want to, like, it's remarkable to me how many people believe that Colorado wants out as soon as possible, or that, you know, like we've heard so much about Oregon and Washington, and schools like Oregon and Washington don't talk because they know what they're doing.
Well, and what did Ray Anderson say about Oregon, right? On this podcast, which I thought was incredibly embarrassing. Ray Anderson said, yeah, we have no way to compete with Oregon. We don't have any way to compete with Stanford, right? Because they have all this endowment money at Stanford, and Phil Knight has the Nike money. I mean, you have, like, I just can't believe that. And then on top of that, you have this conversation of schools wanting or not wanting to leave. And it's like, no, I don't think schools want to leave per se.
And I don't even think that's controversial.
No, because it's different than saying, hey, they won't leave. We're not saying they won't leave. We're saying, hey, they don't want to leave per se, but they will leave if you bring them some pile of garbage for a distribution deal.
But I'll go back to what Maury Alvarez said. Where's that comment? Right here. Those who know don't talk.
President Cosse at Washington
knows what she's doing and where they're going, and she's not going to talk.
And hasn't talked one time.
And we've asked repeatedly. And it's no comment, no comment, no comment. Why aren't you hearing from Phil Knight? Phil Knight talks about Oregon on a regular basis until right now? Well, because I think they know that, I think they'd like to stay in the conference. And remember, Washington and Oregon are 2 of the top-rated teams in the conference.
Right.
You have 2 of the top quarterbacks leading 2 of the top football teams in the Pac-12 at Oregon and Washington. We reported exclusively on this show last week, the Big Ten has a financial arrangement with its TV partners to welcome in Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
And likely Stanford and Cal. Oh, by the way, have you heard from Stanford and Cal on this? You haven't, because they know where they're going.
Yes.
They know what they're doing. And I think if push comes to shove, they're going to go to the Big Ten. But I don't think anybody wants to go. I'm telling you. Matt Ritson gives us $2 to say Ray Anderson said school is terrible. He essentially did say that.
Flat out, dude.
He
Flat out.
essentially said the ASU's not good at sporting.
You know what I thought was funny, too? So he goes on and rips all these sports, right? And rips ASU and talks about how, like, hey, we haven't been relevant. You know, everything we just said. But then he goes on and wants to say, hey, but by the way, just so you guys know, man, I hope Dilly has a good season because football pays for all these garbage sports. Like, dude, like, bro, you can't come out and rip your football program, rip the softball, rip the girls soccer, rip the boys baseball. Like, what are we doing, bro?
And what's on the TV to our right now? A commercial for Grand Canyon University, GCU.
Yeah.
And it's apropos because Arizona State looks down the nose at GCU. And GCU basketball is in a far better place. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Sean Mierzinski says, when schools hire ADs like this one at Arizona State, makes me question what the university is even thinking. And the other issue with that is that you have a guy that oversaw his best friend, Herm Edwards, leading the football program into a massive NCAA recruiting scandal. And didn't fire him.
This is someone who's held this chair since 2014.
And said on this podcast, Speak of the Devil podcast, and said, "Oh, Herm knew it was time to go." But you didn't fire him. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to
and
me.
I feel like we see this a lot in the PAC. It's sort of the convenient situation. Well, Herm knew it was time to go, but I had no idea. Me, bro, I didn't have any idea. Oh, our athletics across the board have been totally irrelevant outside of hockey because, hey, built this building. They've been awesome. 5,000 seats full every single night. Okay, great. Hockey's been awesome. Right, but everything else has been totally subpar, not great, including football. But I had nothing to do with that. I mean, that's none of that's on me. I mean, again, it's this whole idea, whether it's Kirk Schulz up at Washington State or Ray Anderson or hell, and I love Taylor Randall, but even Taylor Randall at Utah, dude, like you guys live in a convenient reality
Yes, you do.
where you want to say, hey, we're going to get our media rights deal done in a couple of weeks. And specifically, Kurt Schultz has the balls to come out and be like, yeah, well, everyone's asking me, hey, Kirk, hey, when's the deal going to get done? As if we haven't been asking that question in the media since last summer, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's incredible to me. Like, they just live in fantasy land.
Hero75 gives us $5. Thank you for all the tips today, you guys. We really appreciate it. Every time you leave us a tip, you get your comment read first. Hero75, personally, I believe a quiet school is a school planning to do something. Whenever the next shoe drops, it will likely be from a place we least expect. And I'm telling you, that place you least expect is Oregon State. And as you hit the like button on the show, please hit the like button. It helps us grow the channel. I would again tell you, this situation at San Diego State's not getting better. And we were able to clarify some reporting today. You know, we've also talked a lot about San Diego State on the show. And one of the things that I think is so interesting is San Diego State has this buyout of $17 million that is due on no later than June 30th. Close of business. Money's got to be there. July 1st, we were getting reporting from Sports Illustrated that said it was triple that.
Yeah.
That's not actually true. It is only double, not triple. So it's not $51 million. It's $34 million, which is a huge difference.
Yes.
But it's interesting to me that in reaching out to San Diego State today, they were happy to clarify the policy on the buyout, but would not speak about rumors around college football realignment. Rumors around alignment. And sources have also told me today that San Diego State has made no effort to communicate their imminent departure from the Mountain West Conference. None whatsoever. Nobody at the conference, I am told, has heard about San Diego State leaving the conference. San Diego State has not filed paperwork. They have not made their efforts known. So how serious is San Diego State about leaving the Mountain West? I think it's really interesting. And here's the other problem. If you're Brett Yormark, is San Diego State of interest to you in the Big 12? I mean, I have to think it's of interest, but you're not going to get more money from ESPN for San Diego State. And from what we understand, Fox has said they will chip in on San Diego State, but will not pay the full fare for San Diego State. How interested financially is the Big 12 in San Diego State? I think that's a big, big misnomer.
Well, and I think if they were super interested, I mean, you wouldn't have, like, J.D. Wicker wouldn't have felt the need to come out and talk about it. I mean, you know, if they were super interested and you were down the road and everything was cool and you had an offer, you know, I'm inclined to feel like, hey, yeah, you probably wouldn't be out here doing some ridiculous commenting and opening your bucked up, the official energy drink of the Monty Show, and slurping it and, you know, saying some dumb things.
Is that what J.D. Wicker did?
No, it's actually not.
He slurped a bucked up.
Sorry, we were in Pac-12 land, so I got caught up in the not sure what the truth is or not type stuff.
Before we read all of your comments on the Pac-12 as the Pac-12 turns, we remind you that Bucked Up Energy Cheers Friends is the official energy drink of the Monty Show. And I know it's shocking. We were actually able to procure the real deal. Look at that.
Yeah, some people were like, hey, why are you guys not drinking Miami on the show anymore? And dude, it's a really simple answer. The stuff is so damn good that it's sold out constantly.
It's tough to get.
So now we
It is
finally
tough
got
to get.
restocked, and here we are.
Drinking it, and it's really good. The thing I love about Bucked Up energy drinks, they're zero sugar. I love that about it. And when you look at the label, you find out how many calories are in this can. Oh, it's 0. It's 0. Yeah, that's a big deal. Ooh.
Oh.
Yes.
Breaking news.
Breaking.
Calvin Sampson, the head coach at Houston, has interviewed for the vacant Milwaukee Bucks coaching job.
They texted.
Oh, boy. The Bucks interviewed Washington Wizards assistant Joseph Blair, as well as Calvin Sampson from Houston. Oh, boy. That is a huge, huge loss if Calvin Sampson gets the job with the Milwaukee Bucks. What a blow for the Big 12 that would be, because he has done unbelievably well. And really what I think is his return to major college coaching. Like, he has done really well at Houston. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But yeah, Bucked Up Energy is the official energy drink of the Monty Show. 0 calories, 0 sugar. That's what I love about it. And I also love the fact that I don't get the jitters from it. You know, you take some of these energy supplements and you wind up getting the shakes, or you get a real bad headache. You know, like you don't know what you're getting in all those. At Bucked Up, you can trust it's a quality product that's going to give you long-lasting, clean energy all day long. And I have been on their bars now. I told you guys yesterday they gave us a special promo code for their Bucked Up protein bars. Dude, they're amazing. Their Bucked Up protein bar is really good. Again, look, you're looking at the graphic on the screen. Protein crisps with bring taste and texture as well as performance. You also get whey protein isolates. It is the leanest, lowest fat protein that you can get. That's why it's called isolate. They also use ingredients like dates in their snickerdoodle bar. And I'm just telling you, it is the perfect decadent snack that's guilt-free because it's got really good ingredients. In the description below, get a free sampler pack of the brand new Bucked Up protein bar. They'll send it right to your front door for free. Click the link, put your information in. Done. Bucked Up wants to hook you up. You know they're one of our favorite partners because they're always giving you free stuff. Also in the description below, there is a link to get 6 free buckshots. I'm telling you, it's a game changer for me. Buckshot, as you can see there, is a small little energy supplement that is high-powered energy performance. It is. I cannot go without my buckshot in the morning. I drink it when I wake up. I worked out this morning. 45 minutes in on the treadmill with a stretch and a lift as well. Bucked Up just carries me right through it. I'm telling you, try it for free. Don't take my word for it. Don't spend your money. Go get it for free. Get the free protein bar. Get the free Bucked Up shots. Like, it's really good. That's why we partner with Bucked Up. They believe in their products so much. They know when you get it, you're going to keep going back to get more. Bucked Up, the official energy provider of the Monty Show.